Sure. May I have your name for the reservation, please?
My name is Roy.
Thank you, Roy. Can you please provide me with the time you'd like the reservation for and the number of guests?
Tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'll only bring my girlfriend.
Just to confirm, you would like to reserve a table for 2 guests tomorrow at 1 p.m. Let me check if this time is available. Please hold on a moment.
Okay.
I've checked, and I can confirm that tomorrow at 1 p.m. is within our working hours. So just to summarize, you want a reservation for 2 guests tomorrow at 1 p.m. under the name Roy. Is that correct?
Perfect. My name is Roy Kahulu, and this is the first of 5 video series where I'll be showing you how to create an AI voice agent. For this specific video, I will be creating a static agent, which is much simpler and less complicated. I'll make another video where I'll be creating a dynamic agent. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to start out by explaining why this brings value to your business. So at first, you can save cost. That means low labor cost, simultaneous call handling, and reduce personnel needs. We can increase efficiency with streamlined workflows, automating tasks, and improving response times. There is 24 hours availability. That means you never miss a lead, like never. And enhanced customer experience. That means personalized customer interactions, improved satisfaction, and strong brand loyalty. So I'm going to do a deep dive into cost savings. At first, there is low labor cost. That means you reduce dependence on human beings. This AI receptionist never goes to sleep, they never get tired, and they never complain. And there is simultaneous call handling. What this means is 5 people can be on the call with the same agent. That means this day can be 5 guys at once, basically it. Reduced personnel needs. So you optimize staffing and you will allocate resources efficiently. That means instead of needing 5 staff members, you can do only 2 or maybe 1. For 24 hours availability, anytime, day and night, it's pretty self-explanatory. This means you never miss a lead. And scalability. This basically means you can handle multiple calls at once simultaneously. So efficiently manage increased call volumes and seamlessly adapt to growing business models. So the next step is to create our AI agent. So this is basically a main map that I am going to follow, and really simple. We're just going to start, and we're going to use VAPI as our communication software. VAPI is going to go to N8N will be used to connect VAPI to our reservations tools and Google Calendar, etc. And once you do that, you're going to respond back to the user and notify them if there is an available spot or if the booking has been confirmed. So let's dive right into it. So guys, I will now remove my face so that I don't have to reach around each and every time I want to access these settings at the bottom. So stay with me, I'm still here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an assistant, and before I go into this, you're going to log into VAPI. The main dashboard looks like this. So once you get to vapi.ai, you can literally test this out. Just click this and ask it a few questions. You can flirt with it. You can basically do whatever you want to do with it. To create an account, just go to dashboard, enter login details and everything. And once you're done, you will get to something like this. So these are some of the assistants I've created, but I'm going to create and I'll actually delete this so I can create a new one with you guys. So I'll leave this one because it's in use, and I will go to create a new assistant. So here I get to put the assistant's name. I can just leave mine as Mary. I'll call my assistant Mary. And these are the templates from VAPI that you can use. So there's an inbound Q&A, there is a game NPC, there's a customer support, there's an appointment setter, and basically you can have this tested out and play around with them, but I am going to start with a blank template. So I'm going to go to create. So you will be met by a dashboard looking like this. illustrate pretty colors, and this is basically the VAPI fixed cost. It's around 0.05. It's clearly up here. This is the model's GPT. So this is what the model you will choose. That is the LLM you choose. How much cost it will use, and I will be using 11 labs for this, and you will also get to see the scale of cost of using different providers, that is voice providers. This is a latency. Latency basically means the period between action and response. So when you speak to your agent and the agent gets back to you, that period in between is what we can call latency, right? And at, as at now it is 0.6 milliseconds, which is pretty good, to be honest. We aim at keeping this low because we do not want the AI agent to take forever to respond, right? So we're gonna go ahead and go to model. So this is the first message. I can get the first message as a so I will be building this voice agent for a restaurant receptionist, and I'm going to say something like this is I'm going to something like this is Mario Hotel, Mary speaking. How may I help you? So this is the first message that the voice agent will say. Let me just correct this. And this is the system prompt. So at default, it's a blank template with minimal defaults. You can change the model, temperature, and messages. So for now, I'm going to set up a prompt, and I will be right back. And for reference, this prompt will be in the link in the description. You can get it in my Discord channel, the resource hub. So this is a prompt I've got. You are Mary, an AI voice assistant at Mario Restaurant. You're an expert in customer communications, known for your professionalism. It's basically a lot of stuff, and I don't really want to go into prompt engineering right now. I will make a video for that much later, because prompt engineering in AI automation is very, very important. I'm just going to skim over it. So the first thing which is really important is give it the role. The role is a AI voice assistant at Mario Restaurant, and its name is Mary. It's very professional, has a positive attitude, and extensive experience in providing high quality customer service. So apparently, the more you give it or you validate it that it's good at what it does, the better your LLM becomes, right? Then you're going to give it the task and the steps to follow once it gets to talk to your customer, and you're going to also give it the do's and the don'ts. So these are the specific interaction with the customer is crucial in maintaining our restaurant's reputation for excellent service. If the customer provides the vision details, out adapt questions accordingly to gather the necessary information. And there is also context. You can give it a context. So I've given it where the restaurant is located, a 4th floor Spurs Mall, Thika Road, exit 12, Nairobi, Kenya. And basically, you can also give it examples. This is very, very important to give it examples. I think I will make a prompt engineering later, because this basically the juice of all this sort makes this work. So next you're going to go to the provider, and I like using OpenAI. It's the best model. There is also a better model called Elliptic Ray, and I'm not going to be using it today, but I will be showing you how to use it in the next video, because it's actually cheaper and better. For the exact model, I will be using GPT-4o Mini. And this is it. 8 is the fastest and the cheapest, with $0.01 per minute and a latency of 300 milliseconds. I will be using that for now. The knowledge base is where you get all the details about the thing you're working on. So for me, it is abstract, right? But I have found that the best results come from actually getting everything in the system prompt. The reason is when you get it into the knowledge base, you increase the latency, and you don't want, because this is what gives quality and real life human experience to this voice assistant, right? So you want to get everything in the prompt, including the prices, and if you want to include something in the knowledge base, it's okay, it's all cool, but don't make it really big, because the bigger it is, the more time and the more you increase this latency, right? And this is the maximum tokens. I've been playing around this and I've found that between 50 and 250 is okay, so I'm just going to leave it at 250. I'm just going to give it at 200 because I don't have a really long prompt. But you do not want to get this higher, because if you get this higher, that means you will be using more tokens and you will be charged more. So on this detect emotion, I'm just going to leave it off. If you go to this eye, you will see a description of it. Enable this property to detect users' emotions such as anger, joy, etc. The model is pretty good, and 4O is also really good. So you don't want to get this, because okay, you can get this in specific context. Let's say you're creating an assistant for a therapy sessions or something like that. But for this receptionist, you don't really need to do that. And more on any time you make changes, make sure to publish this, right? So publishing is basically saving the changes. Then we'll go to the next thing, which is transcriber. And a note on this, once you'll be creating the dynamic assistant in the next video that I will do, we will be approaching this differently. So right now it's all pretty colors and really UI, but just get the hang of it, because you will see this much later, and I am going to reference this video in my next video once I will be talking about the model, the transcriber, the voice, the function, advanced, and all of this stuff. So the transcriber basically means what's going to do the speech to text, and the default is pretty good. You can change it and use assembly AI, but Debugram is really good, and you can see it giving you a pro trip. But I'm not even, I'm actually in Kenya, so I won't be using this. And the model you're going to use is, I usually prefer Nova 2 phone call, because it has the name in it. That means it was designed for phone calls, right? So I'm just going to have that there. And as you can see, this is background denoising enabled. Filter background noise while the user is talking. So you can use this for specific context. So I'm just going to show you when you can use this. So right now I have turned it on and I'm going to publish, and I am going to reference this back time, and I am going to come back and turn this off, because this context specifically is not really good for background denoising, right? So next you're going to go to voice. So this provider Cartesia is the default one, and I don't really like it because it sounds robotic. My personal favorites are Play HT and 11 and 11 Labs. So I'm just going to go with 11 Labs right now. And the reason why I like 11 Labs is because of the model. And I'm going to talk this in a bit. First, I'm going to choose the, actually this voice is really good. So I'm just go and hop on into this. So as you can see, there are different models for 11 Labs. There's a multilingual and Turbo and Flash. So as you can see, this is used to generate lifelike speech in 29 languages. Turbo for task demanding extremely low latency, and this is what I use most, because of sorry, not this. I use 11 Flash V2. This has the best latency. As you can see, this is the newest model. Flash generates speech in 75 milliseconds. It was released just before the last year ended, or maybe earlier this year. It's pretty new, and before this I was using Play HT, but once 11 Flash V2 came out, it's my favorite because, as you can see, the latency has decreased to from previously it was, I'm just going to turbo, it was 900 milliseconds, and once I got to 11 Flash V2, it's gone down to 5 milliseconds, which is amazing. It's really decent, right? So next we're going to go to additional configurations, and this is background sound. So I'm going to refer this to the previous setting we had. So when the background sound is office, you want it. I'm just going to publish this. So hope you're following up. Please don't lose me. I'm going to go back to transcriber once it's published. Now we can get background denoising enabled because we have chosen the background noise as the office. But when it is usually default, you can set this off and go back to voice and set this to default. So this is also use case specific. I'm building a restaurant receptionist, so I do not want it to have an office background, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh, and I did forget something. I did not publish once I made the change to transcriber settings, so I'm just going to publish this first. It's really important to publish once you make a change because it won't save, and promise me it's going to give you problems and you're gonna be scratching your head on that. Oh, it did save, so that's cool. So, and this additional configuration, input minimum characters, this is a minimum number of characters that will be passed to the voice provider. I just leave this at 10. It's really okay that way. Punctuation boundaries, no punctuation boundaries are added. I'm not going to add this. Fill injection, this is domains where fillers are injected into the model output before inputting it into the voice provider. I'm also going to leave this at default. Back channel enabled. Make the boss says words like yeah, it is in. This is also context specific. When you're creating a narrating assistant, this is good, but when you are getting input or having a conversational flow, this really comes out as a bad experience because you will be talking and the voice agent suddenly says or yeah, and it usually seems very unnatural. So I'm just going to leave this off. And of course there is no perfect configuration to all this. I can say it's context specific to what you are creating, so you can basically play around with this. So for stability, this also varies with the voice you've chosen. So for example, Sarah is pretty basic, but they're more playful voices. So for context, a playful voice will be more stable because they will tend to joke around and stuff. And what basically this means is increasing variability can make speech more expressive. So for a playful voice, you want it to be less stable because a playful voice is obviously not stable, right? And for a narrating voice, you will adjust accordingly. So I basically play around with this with the voice assistant that I have chosen, and you can basically do the same. For Sarah, I like using Sarah because it has a human-like language, and she is also pretty clear. I just like leaving this around 7 and this around 4, but you can play with this. There is no specific configuration or perfect configuration for all this stuff. Style exaggeration, I best leave it as none, and you can play around with this. Optimize streaming latency, I also leave it as none. Use speaker boost the similarity of the size, pitch, and the voice at the cost of, I just leave this off for best performance. So I am going to skip over functions because we will be using tools, and you'll be creating tools right here. So at the moment I am going to skip over it, and I'm just basically going to go to advanced. So in the advanced section, there is this HIPAA compliance. This is basically a policy, and when this is enabled, no logs, recording, or transcript will be stored. I like keeping this off because I want to store everything that I'm doing, right? There is also audio recording. Record the conversation with the assistant. You want to do that, of course. Video recording. This is when you're using, let's say you're on a Zoom call or a web call or something, and we're not using it for that, right? So I'm just going to keep this off. We're gonna go ahead to start speaking plan. So in the advanced section, there is a start speaking plan and there is an stop speaking plan, right? So for this is the with seconds, this is how long the assistant waits before speaking. It's pretty okay at 0.4 seconds. I just like getting it at the thing about this is the more you increase this, the more you increase latency. This is like manual increasing latency. So you wanna keep it as low as possible, but not so low so that you can give the user time to respond, because there are people who speak slow, right? Like they have a pause between their sentences, and you don't want your assistant interrupting them. So 0.4 seconds is good. Start endpoint enabled for more accurate speech endpoint detection. I just leave this off. I have had bad experiences when I have got this on. It's like it's kind of overdoing it. It doesn't sound human like. On punctuation seconds, minimum seconds to wait after the transcript ending with punctuation, I leave this at 0. I think 0.2 is good for this. This is basically the pause between punctuation. No punctuation seconds, minimum seconds to wait after transcript ending without punctuation. I'm just going to get this to 1 second. And of course, again, there is no perfect configuration for this. On number of seconds, minimum seconds to wait after transcript ending with a number. This is okay. So this is a stop speaking plan. Number of words. This is the number of words that the customer has to say before the assistants stop talking. So for this, I like to get it at 2, maybe 3. And the reason is, as you can see, this is the number of words that the customer has to say before the assistant stops for talking. So at times you can get your user saying words like or such, slaggy words, and you do not want your assistant interrupting them while they're saying that, right? So you want them to really conclude their sentence so that they can stop talking. To the voice seconds, this is a seconds customer has to speak before the assistant stops talking. So there are moments where the customer literally interrupts the voice AI agent, and you want your assistant to stop talking once the customer starts speaking, right? And I usually set it low. This is okay. Back of seconds. This is the seconds to wait before the assistant will start talking again after being interrupted. So 1 second is good. A lot of this I usually leave as default. You can play around with it, and actually the best way to set this up is after playing around with it. It's because I have already done this a lot of times, so I know what works best for me. I'm just going to leave maximum duration. This is basically the time, the longest time a call will take. This is okay. Silence timeout. This is the time that the assistant will wait before ending the call when there is a silence timeout. which is 30 seconds is okay. You want to keep this low because of course there is a cost to this, and I haven't gone across the billing side of it, but I will get back to it. So once you get to messaging, this is server URL. This is really important because this is how VAPI communicates with N8N. And to really explain this advanced section, I will publish. And once I publish, I will create some tools first. So with this tool section, we will cover functions and advanced, because this is where we used to create tools before this came up. It wasn't there before. So I'm just going to dive into tools, then we are going to get back to that much later. So as you can see, these are some tools I've been using, but I'm basically going to create a new tool. So the tool you're going to create is create a reservation tool. And what this tool is going to do is it's going to communicate with our reservation. It is going to communicate with our reservation software like Google Calendly, or maybe you have a Go level, or you have Airtable to manage your CRM. I'm going to keep this first version really simple. I'm going to go into the complex Go level and Airtable in the next in the next tutorial, where we will be building a dynamic agent. So for this, I'm just going to be connecting this with Google Calendar, and we are basically going to create a reservation tool where we'll connect with Google Calendar and have it book reservations with the number of guests and everything. So for that, I'm going to go to N8N. So this is my N8N dashboard. I'm self-hosting, that's why it has this weird name. You can get a 14-day free trial once you get into N8N. And if you want to self-host, there are very many videos on YouTube. You can self-host it for free. And if you want me to show you how to self-host, just hit me up in the comment section. But basically, right now, I'm just going to dive right into it. So I'm going to go to a new workflow. And once you're here, we go create a webhook. And what we want to do here is we want to do a post request. So a get request is getting information from VAPI. A post request is creating information or creating data and sending it to VAPI, right? So the rest of this, don't worry about them so much. We only use get and post. I've never really used these others. And for this specific use case, I'm going to use the test URL. You can use a production URL, but because I'm just testing, I'm just going to use the test URL. For this authentication, I'm going to keep this as none. In the next video, I'm going to explain these others, but for now, to keep it simple, it's going to be as none, and the respond is also going to be immediately. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this URL, and we are going to go back to VAPI, and you're going to post that URL right here. So this is how you connect N8N to VAPI. So 10 seconds, you don't have to worry about this. 20 seconds is all good. Headers, this is all okay. Just go to the next step. Then once you save, click on next. And here you will see build your schema. So you're going to give it a proper name. I'm just going to give it create a reservation. There's a thing about us developers where we have this R capital and the starting small. I don't know why you do this, but it's really important how you name this, because we are going to reference this specific name with the case sensitive syntax, the small c and the capital R. Important to keep note of that. So describe him. This is create a reservation for of the user based on the requests. Yeah. And it's a string, so this is all good. It's going to save it. So we're going to go to next. The name is again create reservation, and remember this is a really important the case sensitive way you've named it, because you will get back to this much later. And the description will be something like it doesn't really have to be something specific, just really try to describe what this tool is. So something like create or trigger a reservation once the user has fully confirmed the reservation details. And so once you're done with that, you're going to go to create a tool. So what messages should be shown to the user as the tool is running? And this is really important because this is how we test and configure our tool in N8N. So basically, these are the error handling messages, right? So start message to show when the tool starts running. So I'm going to give it something like I have it here, fetching data. I usually have this on default on my Lighting tab because I use this on basically all my tools I create. When I start message, I want it fetching data. When I delete message, waiting for data. A success messages, data received, and error message, date error. And something to point out on this: once our voice assistant is fully functioning, we are going to come back here and we are going to remove this stuff. Why are we going to do that? Because basically the voice assistant is going to be saying fetching data or waiting data or date received or date error every time something executes perfectly or wrongly, and you don't want the customer to be hearing that, right? So this is only for testing. Just note that. So once that is done, I'm just going to cross check if everything is okay and it's all good. I'm going to save. Oh, I think it's saved. Yeah, it's all good. Now we can go back to our assistant, to the advanced section, and yeah, functions. So basically we have dealt with this. So just going to do that and click on create reservation. This is a tool we have created, so we're just going to attach it right here, and we're going to remove this. I don't know what that is. And yeah, that's all good. Once that's there, predefined functions, enable end call function. This will allow the assistant to end the call from the instead. This is actually I hadn't set this out, but it's good to keep it on. Sorry about that. Okay, I am not sure about this. I'm going to get back to this soon, because there is another place in advance where we can configure this, and I'm just reading it out. Best for GPT-4 and bigger models. Let me just leave it out for now. And this is a forwarding phone. So I also didn't touch on this when we first publish. have a number, you can get it here. And to get a number, you can just go to phone numbers. I bought my phone number from Twilio. And to attach this phone number to the assistant, and you can attach your assistant here. That means anytime you call this number, Sarah will answer, right? So this is how you connect this whole system, to your business, right? With this number. I'm not going to be using it for now because I'm just testing out. So I'm just going to go back to assistants. Where were we? We are at functions, right? Yeah. So if you want to attach a number, you can put this. You can change your country or wherever you want to get your number from, and custom functions. So these functions are the same tool as tools, and we've basically created that. And this was what was used before, and I don't know it's still here because you can't access it. They should just scrap it off from VAPI. But yeah, that's basically it. Now back to advanced section. Where were we? Where did we get? Yeah. So server URL. This is the URL VAPI will use to communicate messages with the HTTP post request, and this is basically okay. Oh, and I did forget something. We should also copy this to the tools section. I really forgot that. So back to tools, and our tool that we created, that is create reservation. When you scroll down, I think it's here, integration. Just click on this. Oh, I do not know if I copied this or it just go there by default, but this is basically the same URL that we have here on the advanced the advanced section. Just wanted to point that out. So server URL secret, for security reasons, you can set a secret key which will be sent. This is not compulsory, so we're going to go to this. So these are the messages that will be sent to the client's SDKs. So you can have this as a mine, and I think it's all good. Yeah, there are some functions that we are going to be disabling some of these once we make sure that our assistant is working, but for now we're just going to leave it at this. So server messages, these are the messages that will be sent to the server's URL configured. So let's just take a look at this. So yeah, we want it to give us the end of call report function call, voice input user interpreted, transfer destination request, tool calls, transcripts. I'm just going to get this on. We want it to give us a copy of the transcript in N8N, and I'm just going to show you how to do that. Speech update, I'm just going to leave this off. Conversation update, yeah, I think this is all cool. So I think that's basically it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the function call result is basically this. Let me just get back to this real quick. Create a reservation. So this date error, date received, waiting for data, that's basically those function call results, and we will switch that off once we are done with this, right? So let's get back to this, and I keep on forgetting you are in advance. Always remember to publish whenever you are done with these settings and configurations. So server messages, just to make sure I get everything. Conversation update, transcript, tool calls, I'm not sure if I should have this on. True calls, no, this is okay. Voice input user interpreted. Uh, yeah, I think it's all good. Just going to check once again. And when you're confused about what you should check and what you should not check, you can just check them all and remember to uncheck them once you've fully configured your assistant. So it's all good. Voicemail, we don't really need this because it's a receptionist, a restaurant receptionist. There's no need to go to voicemail. So end call message. Oh, you remember back at functions where we did turn this function off. So this is a message that the assistant will say if the call is ended. We can just leave it at this, and if we leave this at this, then we can turn this off. We can turn, where is it, where are you? Yeah, we can turn this off, and I highly recommend this because this is for best practice of GPT-4 and bigger models. So we are done with VAPI. Now it's time for N8N. I'm just going to publish one last time to make sure that everything is okay. And 11 seconds, 11 cents per minute, 5 milliseconds, it's all good. We can also test this out.
Thank you, Roy. What date and time would you like to make the reservation for, and how many guests will be joining you?
Tomorrow, 6 p.m., 5 guests.
Fetching data. Date error.
So that means it's all good, it's okay. Now, time for the techie stuff, the back end part. So I'm just going to rename this workflow to, I think I called it Mary, right? I'm just going to give it Mario. Yeah, Mario server. And I'm going to give it an emoji, just to keep it cool. So once you've given your workflow a cool name, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a no operation. And the reason we're doing this is we just want to get the output from VAPI and test it out. So I'm just going to test this.
This is Mario Restaurant. Mary speaking. How may I help you?
I want to book a reservation.
Of course, I'd be happy to help you with that. May I have your name for the reservation, please?
My name is Roy.
Thank you, Roy. Could you please provide me with the reservation details? Specifically, I need to know the date, time, and the number of guests.
Tomorrow at 2 p.m. I have 5 guests. Mary, are you with me? Hello?
Fetching error. Date error.
Okay. Now, if you look at this, you can see that you've got this output, and what you're looking for specifically is the transcript. That is the conversation we had with our voice agent. Now, I can see that it got the details that I want. Roy tomorrow at 2 p.m., 5 guests, which is pretty cool. You can also see everything else it got for us. So if you look at this, right from here, artifacts, messages, the first message, this is what I have prompted it. And this is how it started. Then this is what I say, I want to book a reservation. And this is exactly what we want, right? And my name is Roy. I can see it captured my name. Thank you. Awesome. So what you're going to do is, in order not to lose this output, you're just going to pin it right here. That means if we save and we keep on refreshing this, actually the one to pin is this. So I'm just going to pin this. Yeah. Just to confirm that it has everything. Yeah, it has everything. So you can get on with it. So I'm just going to delete this. We no longer need it. And remember, before deleting this, you need to pin you need to pin it from the webhook, right? You need to pin the output from the webhook, because this is what you're going to use. And the reason why I pin it is because we don't want to keep on talking to the agent all over again while trying this, while making this workflow. So once I do that, I'm going to add an AI agent. Yep, that's right here. You can see that it already has this in default, but I'm going to change that by defining it below. So just go to source of prompt and go to define below. Before I get onto this, I'm first going to attach the brain, which is OpenAI. I have my account already connected. I'm going to choose GPT-4 or Mini. If you don't have this connected, it's really straightforward. What you're going to do is go to platform, .openai.com. Once you do this, go to this setting button. You need to get an API key. But first, to get an API key, you need to add some credits. So just go to billing. As you can see, I've added some credits. You don't really need much. $5 is enough. Once you do that, go to API keys and create a new secret key. When you create a new secret key, you'll be given you will be given an API key, and what you will do with that API key, you just go here, create a new credential and paste your API key right here. This is optional, so you don't really need to have it, and you will be good to go. So that is okay. And the next thing I'm going to add is my calendar agent. So Google Calendar tool. I have already connected mine. To know how to set up a new credential with the Google Calendar, you can check out my previous video. It was on creating 1,000. It was on sending personalized 1,000 emails or something like that at 3 minutes 30 seconds. So just go there. I'm pretty sure you'll go check it out. It's pretty straightforward, but it is time consuming, so I am not going to cover it here. I'm just going to use my account. Then on the select a calendar, I'm going to use my email, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to get back to this later so you can get back to the AI agent. And as you can see, what we need to define here is the transcript that we got from OpenAI, right? And not exactly the transcript, but what we expect. Like this is what we should get here. But I'm not going to drag it like that. I'm just going to go to expression, and I'm going to write let me first try and just pick it up the way it is. So json.body.message tools. Yeah, it's actually perfect. So this is what we want. We don't really want the transcript. Forgive me for that. And I can see that I have this is pretty interesting because I have two versions of this. So I have a tool call list. It actually got me two versions of it. So I'm not sure if it's going to be different the next time I try it, but I'll just test it out to figure it out. And there are moments where it doesn't summarize what you actually said. So when it does that, when it doesn't really summarize and just gives you the transcript, you can just put the whole transcript in there. And what you do next is add a system prompt, like a system message. You're going to go to expression, and I will send this prompt over in the link in the description. Just go to my Discord server, to the resource hub, and you will get all these prompts. So I have this, the current date is now.format. Then this is just a JSON format of letting it know the current date. And before you do this, just make sure that you go to settings and make sure this is your current time zone. I'm in Nairobi, so I'll be using this. And make sure you got this right, because if you have this wrong and you have a client who is in another part of the world, you will have problems booking a time for them. So just make sure you have that right. So once you have this, I'm just going to expand this to show you the prompt that I have on it. Based on the following conversation with the user, I want you to extract the date for the reservation and the name of the person making the reservation. I want you to get the start time for the reservation. So that's cool. Royal tomorrow at 2 p.m. 5 guests. That's perfect. So once we got that done, let's check if there's any other option we can add. Maximum iteration, returning intermediate steps, automatically pass through binary images. You don't really need that. Yeah, I think this is okay. Get a feel of agents with our quick tutorial. Awesome, you can also get tutorials to find an to just guide you through this, but I'm just going to go to our Google Calendar. Once you get here, I'm going to rename mine. I'm just going to give it create reservation and rename it. Awesome. So at the start, I'm going to go to expression, and I had covered this function in my previous video where I did build my personal assistant. You can go check it out, but I'm just going to explain it again. So we're going to use from AI, and what from AI does is it takes a key which is compulsory, and a description and a type and a default value. So anything with a question mark is not really compulsory, but it's just used to explain or expound more on the key. It's like a definition or a detailed explanation of the key. So as you can see, it populates with the parameters passed in the large language model. And what this function does is it's basically new from N8N, and it helps us explain to N8N what we want in a version that can be understood by the LLM. So you don't really have to be specific with it, but you just really need to give it a vivid description and it will understand. So I'm just going to write here start time and close this, and I'm going to add a description, right? So it will be find the starting time for the reservation, something like that. Why is it still red? Oh, it's supposed to be a single quote. Yeah. And for the end, we will do the same. So once again, from AI, and this function is really cool because before this, we had to really hard code what we wanted from the model, and with this, you don't really have to know how to code to do this. You just have to understand from AI, which is pretty cool. So this is going to be end time. Always remember to close the quotation, and we're going to add another description about it. So we're going to add something like always assume the end time is how long can you take someone to eat, or maybe they're in a date, so they will take their time, something like 3 hours after the start time. So invalid syntax, what's up? I'm just going to write it again from AI. And time colon, assume the end time is 3 hours after the start time. Yeah, I don't really know what I had done earlier, but now it's all good. Then we're going to go to add fields, and here is where we add other additional information. So you can add attendees, you can add a description. So I'm thinking of adding the number of guests that are attended or that have been reserved. So I'm going to go to description, and let me just go to other fields to see if there is a more vivid way of communicating that in Google Calendar. So attendees, conference call, guests. I don't want to use this because this is when you are inviting a guest to a call, and right here we are not inviting any guests to a call. We just trying to communicate how many guests there will be. Yeah, so I think description will be fine. So I'm going to add from AI again. From AI, then guests, then comma, the total number of guests attending. Yeah, I think that's okay. What else can we add? We can also add the name of the guest. I don't know where I haven't thought of that. So where will you add that? Will you add that on description? Oh, there's also a summary. I think this should be here in the summary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste this, and I'm going to put it right here. And what I'm going to put here is the name of the guest, right? And about this, you don't really have to be accurate. There's a thing about us developers where we have this in uppercase, and with from AI, you don't really have to be super accurate as long as you give it a detailed description, and it will figure it out on its own. So I think that's okay. Yeah, I think everything is okay. Now, what else can we add? Full description set automatically, set manually, automatically based on resource and operation. That's okay. Event, create, and let's just check if there's anything else. I think it's all good. So the best practice is to actually test it to see if it works. So I'm just going to test workflow right here. Awesome. Now, once we do that, we're going to look at this output. The reservation for Roy has been successfully made for tomorrow, January 23rd, 2025. And what date is it today? It's 22nd January 2025. So that's perfectly cool. And so they've actually created a calendar event. I'm just going to go to my Google Calendar and check it out. So this is my Google Calendar. I'm just going to refresh it. And the event has been created tomorrow. So I'm just going to go to tomorrow, 2 to 5 p.m. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get a respond back to VAPI. And once we test it, we're going to see if it does give us another output, because I've basically been using the same example over and over again. The next step to getting this back to VAPI, so I'm just going to go to webhook. And I haven't really touched a lot on webhooks and how they work. We actually don't need this. What we need is respond to webhook. This is what we need. So respond with not first common item. We can't do it with JSON file. We can also do it with text, but the best way to do it is responding with a JSON format. Now you can see this response body in JSON. It's not really complicated. So I'll just click expression here, and we will replace this with the expected JSON output format that can be understood by VAPI. And you might ask, how do I know that? Do you really need to know how to code? No, just go to docs. Come on. And when you're getting familiar with VAPI, you will spend a lot of time here, but I'm just going to go to tool calling. It's right here on documentation, not API reference. Where is it? Tool calling. Here you are. And basically what they have here is I call them notes, because this is what I refer to whenever I get lost on anything regarding to JSON. And what you need to do is get a server response format. So understanding through structure, adapting payload to your needs, example modification. We don't really need this. We just need, server response format. So this is a format that VAPI expects from N8N, right? So this is what I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. And once we go back to N8N, just going to paste it there. And before pasting, just make sure it's on expression and not fixed. So I'm just going to paste that there. And as you can see, there is this X and Y. So X and Y is what we should replace. So I'm just going to replace X with the tool call ID and Y with the results. So it's really more of the output than the results. So I'm just going to go here, and I'm just going to take this output and place it right here. That's awesome. Then for the tool call ID, I'm going to look for it here. Yes, it is this, because this is the true calls, and as you can see, this is the true calls, then ID. So I'm just going to take this ID and I'm going to replace it here. Oh, I haven't removed the X. Yeah. And it should work. Oh, before I continue, as you can see, the result is the output, and the output has all of these kinds of hashtags and okay, I don't really know how to pronounce this, but we don't want these stars, right? And these brackets and all that stuff. So what we are going to do is, as I mentioned before, we're going to mess with this prompt again. So I know I had experimented with this and it didn't work, obviously. So I'm just going to remove that, and I'm going to have something like, I'm going to add something like, do not mention where we can view or manage the reservation. I think that will be okay. Yeah, once we done with all that, always remember to save. So once we've done that, we can go to back to VAPI and test this out. Oh, and before we do that, I always forget this. As you can see, this respond, and it's when and how to respond to the webhook. But we have just set up a respond to webhook right here. So what we want to do is actually change this to not immediately, but using respond to webhook, so that we can actually use this, right? And we want to save that. And now it's time to test this and see if it actually works. So I'm back in VAPI right now, and let's check it out. Before we do that, first I need to test workflow. I'm just going to unpin this. And guys, please learn from your mistakes. I'm forgetting a lot of things. Then test workflow, waiting for trigger. So back to VAPI.
This is Mario Restaurant, Mary speaking. How may I help you?
I want to book a reservation tomorrow.
Sure. May I have your name for the reservation, please?
My name is Roy.
Thank you, Roy. Can you please provide me with the time you'd like the reservation for and the number of guests?
Tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'll only bring my girlfriend.
Just to confirm, you would like to reserve a table for 2 guests tomorrow at 1 p.m. Let me check if this time is available. Please hold on a moment.
Okay.
I've checked and I can confirm that tomorrow at 1 p.m. is within our working hours. So just to summarize, you want a reservation for 2 guests tomorrow at 1 p.m. under the name Roy. Is that correct?
Perfect.
Thank you, Roy. I've now created the reservation for you. We look forward to seeing you and your girlfriend tomorrow at 1 p.m. If you need any further assistance, feel free to ask. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So that's it, guys. Next, I'll be building a dynamic assistant for you guys. And I'm going to use Go High Level. And I'll see you on the next one.